Oh dear. Right, I'm going to show you some stuff in Teen Wolf. Okay, if you've been following along with the channel, you already know that we're looking at Super Bowl 60, the connection with Silver, with the idea of Silver crashing at some point. This is the connection to the DeLorean in Back to the Future, which is the silver bullet, so to speak. The silver bullet kills the werewolf, yeah? So we're looking at Teen Wolf now, because Teen Wolf came out the same year as Back to the Future. It's got Michael J. Fox in it, okay? And in fact, in this film, I think I forgot to mention this the other day, but in the film, he is playing Scott, okay? Now, what does Doc say all the time in Back to the Future? Great Scott. So in Teen Wolf, he is Scott. Okay, and he is a werewolf, and the silver bullet kills the werewolf, okay? Anyway, to cut a long story short, we've been talking about the idea of Silver crashing in order to destroy the dollar, okay? And what would be interesting, in fact, this is kind of funny, I've got Trading Places over here, and actually, I think Eddie Murphy is Valentine in that, isn't he? Isn't he Val? I think so, maybe. Anyway, that's interesting because what we're looking at is a date that's just before Valentine's Day, the 13th. In fact, we're looking at a whole bunch of dates right now. We're looking at the 8th of February, which is Super Bowl. Okay, that big silver bullet trophy. We're looking at 213 as well. Okay, that is an important number with the start of Lucas numbers. Okay, we're also looking at 214 and 215. 214 and 15, Valentine's Day, and the following day, which those two dates are really very intertwined indeed, because Valentine's Day is really, maybe, could be, a replacement for Lupercalia, which is the old Roman festival, basically celebrating the wolf, the she-wolf, okay? And actually, funnily enough, I don't have the point in this film, but it is actually referenced in this film. There is a direct reference to it during a classroom session in the film. They actually reference Lupercalia. Okay, anyway, I really need to cough. I've got a whole bunch of bits and pieces in this film that I want to show you. Let's go right to the start. Look, this is really interesting. Let me show you the start point on this film. And this might take a few seconds. The computer is running extremely slow as usual. This is where the film starts. So this is almost like, this is like a double reference, okay? It's like the full moon here, okay? And it's also, I believe, a little bit like the eclipse as well, okay? Good old eclipse referencing and the moon referencing, and him becoming a werewolf, of course, that's connected to the full moon, okay? A creature of the night, though, okay? Remember that. It's and if you watch the film, you will understand exactly what they're trying to say, you know, in the film, you know, about being able to control, what would you say, a basic animal instinct, but the animal instinct is what drives us into using or abusing the metaphysical, which is, of course, represented again with the, you know, the full moonlight, okay? So, without spending like 20 minutes explaining, it's actually quite a simple story that's going on here. It really is about controlling the desire to use the metaphysical, okay? Anyway, we've talked about this before. We've talked about the connections to Kobe Bryant with this film. So they start off with the sort of eclipse moon reference, full moon reference. Michael J. Fox is wearing the number 42. They've got similar colours to the Lakers, where, you know, the blue's different. You know, it's not the purpley blue of the Lakers, but Don't forget, we see this as well at the end of Back to the Future 3 with the train that smashes the DeLorean. It has the blue and yellow coloration as well. They're the beavers. The beaver builds the dam. We're talking about the idea of the Hoover Dam being destroyed as the symbolism for being reborn. He's wearing the number 42. Obviously, we've had a lot of connections to that number surrounding the 8th coming up. In fact, we had a whole bunch of stuff with another Creature of the Night film, which was The Lost Boys. Okay, we had Kiefer Sutherland in that, and we had some 4224 a whole bunch of 24 references with that, and of course Kiefer Sutherland with the famous TV show 24. Anyway, 24 is of course one of the numbers that Kobe wore, Kobe Bryant. This film is actually released, I think, on Kobe's 7th birthday. Okay, so it's released on his birthday. It's about basketball, okay, amongst other things. Anyway, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to show you in here. I think I'm going to start with this. This is just an interesting reference to 213. This chap here, let me see, wearing the shirt number 25, is wearing the red shirt 25. Let's see if we can click back on it. I was almost on it there. The little thumbnail's bringing it up. This is the dude we're looking at. Let me just see. Let me just go forward just a little bit now. Might be able to get a little bit better shot of him. Anyway, I've got this guy. Let's go to him first and do this part of the decode first, okay? There's a whole bunch of stuff I want to show you in here, especially to do with 213. Very important. There's a very important reference to 213 in here, and we'll go to that in just a second. But what I want to show you is just a quick connection to this guy. Now, this guy reminded me of an English singer called Robbie Williams. So I'm going to bring up that character, and this is the guy playing this guy in the 25 shirt, the red 25 shirt there. He's called Mark Arnold, right? Now, if you look at him, if you're English, you will know who Robbie Williams is, okay? I'm not talking about Robin Williams, we're talking about Robbie Williams. It's quite a famous English singer, okay? So this is the same Mark Arnold dude in the film here, actually, okay? So look at him, and now let's look at, see if I got a picture of Robbie Williams here. Okay, Robbie Williams. Now, note, they are, I mean, I'm not saying they're identical, but you get this with Hollywood and celebrities. You get people that are similar looking, okay, extremely similar looking. And if you've got the right picture here, I'm sure these two would look very much alike. It would be a case of trying to get the right angle, I suppose. He's got a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit wider nose, and that's about it, really. I mean, very similar looking guys. Anyway, get to the point, Dan. Well, the point is, the reason why I just thought, okay, well, I already knew that Robbie Williams has an interesting birthday. If I have him in here somewhere. Here we are. Robbie Williams has... Uh-oh. See, this is what I'm saying about computers gone nuts. He has the February 13th, 1974 birthday, which is super duper fascinating. Yeah, so the 7th, so he's 51. He will be 52 coming up on February the 13th coming up. Notice he's got this red shirt on in this picture here as well, a red jacket on. Crazy, isn't it? And so he's 51 right now, which is super duper interesting with our connections, but he'll be 52 on that day. Now, what shirt is the dude wearing in the film? He is wearing, well, go back to the film. He is wearing the 25 shirt. Robbie Williams will be 52 on 213. That has to be organic. That has to be an organic connection. And in fact, I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll just run the numbers between those two's birthdays, just to see. I've got it in here somewhere if I could find it. Blooming hell, Dan. Just to see if there was anything interesting with them. So this is Mark Arnold's birthday. This is Robbie Williams's. 6111 days, or if you want to unclick 611. That is absolutely mental, especially if you watch somebody like Jurassic Liars who's constantly on about 611. Okay, anything interesting? Not really, I don't think. Just the fact that that number showed up, you know, the 611, that to me is crazy. You know, that isn't, when you see stuff like that, that's not just completely random. Okay, so anyway, the 213, I'm going to show you why that is really interesting. But that was going to say with Robbie Williams, yeah. So if you want to look up Robbie Williams, if you're American, you might know him from Take That. Okay, that was the group he was in originally, and he's got some interesting bits and pieces connected to him. But just that fact that, and 51 as well. I'll tell you what's interesting about the number 51 as well. Let me show you something with Back to the Future. Hang on a minute. I think I might have that in here. Well, anyway, if I'm recalling correctly, between, and I thought I had it in here. Yeah, between the release of Back to the Future, this is 1985, the release of Back to the Future and the release of Teen Wolf is 51 days. Yeah, May Day, 51 days. Remember that from 9/11 to Christmas is 105 days. Okay, so that's important. And again, just on the topic of that same character, and I've kind of got off on a bit of a tangent here, but that same character in Teen Wolf, let me show you something else with it. Because if I go from, blimmin' hell, Dan, I know this is, I'm sorry this is painful, but it's all over the place it's because it's because I'm not very organised. And in fact, I can't find it now. Yeah, there it is. This is Michael J. Fox's birthday, 6961, to Christmas this year, to the 25 date, yeah, 2025, and you'll know that also 51 or 510 is without spending ages showing you this, it's actually a 2025. So that 51 reference, let me just show you this real quick, and then we'll come back to that. If I go to 51 on the chart of Lorraine, here's 51, and if we come across to the 10 column, right here in cross reference, you see the 225 here for like 2025. Yeah, very, of course Christmas is 1225. So 25s with the Christmas theme going along here, cross referencing with 51 and 510 and 51 again. Obviously 10 is 1. This is quite interesting. Remember that guy, the baddie guy, the dragon dude? He's wearing the dragon shirt as well. If I didn't mention that already, the team is the Dragons. 12/25, Christmas. This is the dude's birthday, Mark. Albeit with one number got to be switched around, right? So just look at that number, 23575. Got it in here somewhere. Teen Wolf, let's go to him. Okay. Mark, where is he? Put it down here. Mark Arnie's playing Mick as well. A Michael reference. And don't forget Michael, George and Michael, Dragon Slayers, okay? Another dragon reference there. May 23rd, 57. So just switch the 5 and the 7 around. And I just thought that was too close not to say anything about that as well, So it's just things like that you see, and it's just like, oh dear, it's got to be connected, it's got to be connected. Okay, this reference to Christmas, super duper important. Okay, now I'm kind of at a standstill. So we've done the Robbie Williams connection there, which I thought was pretty good. Let's do the Bad Bunny connection now. Okay, so we need to go back to the film. Back to the film, and we need to find a spot in here, and I can't remember what it was. Let me see. I've got it written down. Of course, I don't have it written down. Yes, I do. Let's go to this spot. Ooh, look at that. What is the chances I click right on it? Okay. This spot here. Now note they're outside a store window. This is really important because let's think back to the Future when we've had the, let's look at this store, the Blast from the Past store. Remember, we've got the train reference here with the bullet train reflection. Coincidentally, later on, just after this scene, when Doc pulls up, I think he's almost going to park right where this bullet train is. I'm pretty sure he almost parks the DeLorean right there. Maybe he doesn't, but I'm almost sure he parks the DeLorean right where this car would be here. You know, it would be out in the street, reflecting. So we have this sort of crossover of connecting the bullet train with the DeLorean. Also, Marty's looking in the window here, and we've got Roger Rabbit. Okay, so this Bad Bunny connection, and I'm going to show you the bunny connection in the dollar bill in a minute as well. So this is going to be a pretty long decode. But anyway, let's go back to this. Okay, so he's asking if there's anything wrong with him here. I'm going to play this because this is important, all right? And we'll just see what is behind Marty here in the window, okay? Not Marty, Scott. Great Scott.
Am I all right? I mean, is there any...
Okay. Well, there's a pigeon or a dove. Hang on a minute. That's not really what we're looking at. Let me play a second more. I don't know if we really want the sound or not.
You should probably shower after basketball.
Oh, hang on a minute. I can't hear
I do.
No, there's nothing wrong with you.
Well,
okay, that's what I wanted to show you. And actually, it looks like a Bad Bunny here. Okay, so he's walking around. Look, notice the dollar, the $1 underneath that. Do you see that? That's mental as well. I didn't even spot that before. So let's back that up just a second. Okay, there's probably some other references here. I mean, obviously the pigeon, the dove from above. I'm not really sure what the hell that is there. But this is the Bad Bunny, and he stood right in front of it. Is there anything wrong with me? The Bad Bunny. Oh dear, $1. Okay, let me show you the connection to Bad Bunny now. So Bad Bunny is going to be doing the what? And I mean, we can connect this back to a whole bunch of other stuff like Donnie Darko, yada yada yada. Okay, but the halftime show this year is going to be done by this dude. Okay, Bad Bunny. Okay, Bad Bunny. Now let me show you. I've already showed this before, but let me show you. He was in a film. Okay, called, if I could find it, Bullet Train. Okay, and in Bullet Train, now let's go to it so you can see Bullet Train. Okay, coincidentally, he's got Sandra Bullock in it, who was in Speed, and Speed is also a knockoff of the original Bullet Train film. Okay, anyway, let's come down. And actually, just interesting with Brad Pitt with Snatch. Okay, Snatch was also released on 8/23. That's the Guy Ritchie film, Madonna's ex-husband. Okay, and there's a bunch of stuff in that, and its connection to the Fighting Irish and to the we made all that connection with Biff, because to biff somebody is to punch them, and Boxing Day, and just recently we've just had what is his name? Oh, I can't remember. That dude that's the FFA fighter or whatever it is. FFA fighter. Farmers for America. Whatever he is, that Irish dude. I can't remember his name. Everybody's going on about him doing some gematria anyway. You can put it in the comments. But before I lose my train of thought, Sandra Bullock. Let's go down to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is in the film as the what? As the wolf. Wowzers. Okay. So he is in here cross-referencing as the wolf. So we've got Bad Bunny cross-referencing as the wolf. That is absolutely flipping insane. So we're already connecting back to Back to the Future, but this is remember, this is the film Bullet Train, yeah? This is the film Bullet Train with Bad Bunny, okay? And then we're in this scene here with Michael J. Fox again, the fox, the dog, with the Bad Bunny, the dollar reference here. It's just mental. I don't know what else to say. Also, while we're on the subject to this, here is this blue and white vessel container thing. This is the Blast from the Past store, and so if we go to if we go to iPetGoat 2, is the Super Bowl trophy. We're talking about Super Bowl time period as well. Here is that blue and white similar idea with the container here, and there's the blast. Yeah, the blast from the past. Maybe, you know, the sort of iconic mushroom cloud of a supposed nuclear explosion there. So are we going to see Madonna, a death thing to do with Madonna at this particular Super Bowl? Also notice that we've talked about this before, but we also have 2 tiers here and 3 tiers here. We were doing Eli on that before, but there's also a 2-3 there. I mean, you'd have to count the nose as the 1, you know what I mean, to get your 2-3-1 there, which would be interesting as well. What else we got? I think did I already mention? I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but the actual team, the Beavers, okay, their logo in this as well is. Let's see if this is all right on here. Come on, this computer is just. So their logo is. Let me write the B. It's just a B, okay, a capital B. Now, the capital B, you can pick a lot of things out of there. Obviously, you can pick a 13 out of that as well, okay? Because if you just disconnect like this, okay, so you can do that for a 13, okay? Oh dear, this thing just ain't. It's just not working. Anyway, the letter B is the number 2. Okay, and also that B looks like a what? An 8. Yeah? So 2-8 is not difficult to pick out of the logo for the team that Scott is playing on. Okay, Michael J. Fox. So this whole number here is not difficult to get. It's sort of decoding like that. Okay, let's get rid of this. Right, next job. Let me show you. I'm going to show you something else here that's pretty interesting as well. I'm going to show you the last game in the film. Why won't this disappear now? Come on. Now, it is at... Where is it, though? That's the question. Let me show you. 17... and then I'll show you some other references to Back... Actually, there's a reference to Back to the Future on the way. See if we get to it. Hang on. Hang on. They are doing a school play here. There's Michael J. Fox dressed up. Funnily enough, go back to the scene with the bear in Back to the Future 3, where the cavalry has just gone over the top of the DeLorean chasing the Indians. Okay, he's dressed up like one of them. And look what we have in the background. This house that has the 4 columns, like the clock tower. They just had to put it in there to reference Back to the Future, I think. And it's almost like they're back in 1885 right there. Just absolutely insane. You know. Anyway, move on, Dan. Come on. Let's get to the... I want to show you this other part up here. This is probably the most ominous part of the whole thing, which is this end. I need to go back. Hang on. This is the final game, the championship game. Kind of interesting with the idea of Super Bowl coming up. There's that B that I was on about. Okay, and you can see these are the dragons over here. With the D, interesting with the Broncos, with the D for Denver as well. Let me see. I think I need to go back just a hair bit more. Let's try here. I'm sorry about this. It's just difficult to get it right on where we want to be. Okay, back up. Back up. Ah, this is almost right where we want to be. Right, let's play it. You're going to see where that clock... In fact, it looked like it was... If you see now, just as this is coming in, there's the wolf. Here's the date. It's the actual time on the clock. Got the score is 3:22. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? The old Skull and Bones 223. 322. Sorry, 322. 2:14 is right here, right? 2:13. Okay. Again, Valentine's Day, replacement for Lupercalia. Okay. 2:13, the start of our Lucas numbers right here, and this is them fading into the game. Okay. I wonder what it will go down to before they cut away. Oh, look at this. 209. 209. Remember, 29 is going to be the day after Super Bowl, of course. 29 is our super duper balance number for 1118, and that connection to the chart of Lorraine. Okay, let me just whiz back to it because some of you might not know this. This is the middle of the chart. These are the two numbers that we're interested in to do with the physical and there's the metaphysical, there's the physical column to do with the physical and metaphysical balancing. If you reduce these two numbers individually, it's a 2 and a 9. If you add them together, it equals 29. Yeah, hence why Charles and Diana's white wedding, there's the 7th column, 729, a big day for the white wedding. And in fact, number 7, the 7 column is really the combination of these two columns anyway. So 7 is balancing these things. Very interesting. Okay. Note that the film came out on Kobe's 7th birthday. I'm pretty sure it's his 7th birthday. Mate, yeah, I think it was his 7th birthday. Anyway. Okay. So you can see the final game, the final countdown. Yeah, the final game is they're showing the clock at 2:14, 2:13. Okay, that is super duper important. I had some other stuff in here. What other stuff did I want to show? I can't really remember now. Let's just have a look at this dude at the end of here. Oh. See if we can find something at the end of here to look at. Hang on. Okay, this is the the other sort of baddie, the baddie girl, so to speak. Here's the the baddie guy. You can see him here, number 25, the Robbie Williams. Somebody's going to say, this looks a bit like Taylor Swift. I don't know. But anyway, there's the Robbie Williams character at the end of this. And these two are got a little bit better shot of that. And this might be an interesting spot as well, if I could get to it. Obviously, anytime they show a blooming clock, it's interesting to see what the hell, what's on it. If I can get on it there or not. Go backwards a little bit. I was trying to get that clock score there, so you can see that. There's a Hoover Dam reference number there. Problem is, I don't want to pay too much for this, otherwise it'll just slay the dragons. Oh dear. There we go, that's what I wanted. I wanted this score on here. The 9:30 that's there is a Hoover Dam reference. Okay, that's the birthday of the Hoover Dam. Okay, I think that's pretty much all of that stuff. Let me show you one more spot here, because there's been so many references to. You'll notice that in this film, watch this. He's trying to get a keg of beer here.
Give me a keg
of beer. Notice the red eyes. Okay, the red eye reference in here. So that's another interesting thing. I know I'm going to have to have forgotten something out of here that was important. I think I'm going to call it for going through the film there. There's a couple other things I want to show you with some number jumps. That's really interesting and still tying back to all this stuff. And then I want to show you the dollar bill. A couple of things with the dollar bill as well that ties back to the iPet Goat stuff as well. So let's just go through some of these tabs and I'll just show how everything connects together. So this is, yeah, Kobe Bryant again. Here's the 24th. Switch that around for 42 for what Michael J. Fox is wearing in there. Now remember, Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash. Okay, here's his helicopter. Whatever that was it called the Black Mamba or something? I can't remember. But anyway, he's got this. Notice the flux capacitor stuff on the side of there, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, it's black here, and then of course after the crash it turned miraculously back to this color somehow. So I don't know what Kobe's probably enjoying a pina colada right now somewhere on the island, but this reference here to the black helicopter, let me show you that. I think I might have mentioned this, but this TV show probably from the 80s, I think it was, because I remember watching 84. I remember watching this growing up. Airwolf. Airwolf. Okay, look at this. Yeah, look at this. Okay, I haven't really done any number jumps for it yet. There's probably something buried in there that connects the date of his crash to something to do with the film, no doubt. Okay, so I wanted to connect the Airwolf to the Airwolf here with Kobe, okay, and the connection to Kobe and Teen Wolf. Okay, what else we got here, Dan? Come on, let's crack on with it because we want to get done here pretty quick. Couple more things. Madonna's birthday through to Bad Bunny's birthday, 12990. Nothing really that interesting about the number apart from if you drop that 0 off, the next number on from 1299 would be what? 13. Notice he's also got the 13 reference here, and we're talking about the big day being Friday the 13th. Okay. What else have we got here? I had several interesting. We'll do the dollar bill in just a minute. Okay, this. So we were talking about the train crash the other day that happened on 1/18 in Spain. Again, I think that was the day that the Texans lost their game, wasn't it? Wasn't that the Sunday game? The Texans, the ball reference, and again Spain and the ball fighting. That's marginally a bit of a reach to connect together, but they went out of the Super Bowl running on that day as well, same as the train crash. And note that the train crash itself is 26 days. That happened 26 days before the 13th, before this Friday the 13th coming up. Okay, now 26. What's important about that and Madonna and Train is Train equals 62-26, same as Madonna, 62-26. In fact, they got a 37 match as well there as well. But so that is super duper important because, of course, that was a high-speed train crash. Again, we're talking about the bullet train, okay, that happened in Spain there. So again, we're kind of connecting a lot of dots here in one video. Okay, what else we got here, Dan? Okay, Robbie Williams stuff. Yes, that connects to 213. This is one of the release dates for Bullet Train. I think I showed this one already. Through to 28, 1301. Okay, remember the black train in Back to the Future, the steam train is 131. So that's interesting. Was there something interesting about that as well, that number? 212, yes. Okay, remember 12's going, the 12th of February will be the day before the 13th. So that's quite a sort of round in circles number there as well. This is the other release date for Bullet Train. Right, like I think the one was a premiere and this is the proper release date. I'm going to do a few number jumps with this one, okay? So 8/5/2022, again 8/5, super duper interesting with Back to the Future, 1985, okay? Through to 131, the number on the train, okay? 1275. In fact, I think I was talking about this with Madonna. Click this, 50th triangular. Yeah, the bullseye, 50, right? Let's look at some other numbers here. Let's go to the 8th. Okay. 1283. Let's see what that is. 208 prime. That is insane. Okay. 208 prime on 28. We could even say 208 there. Okay. Let's look at the 13th. Let's look at the 13th. Let's look at the 12th. Hang on. What's this one? Let's see if there's anything interesting. Wow, nothing majorly interesting there. Okay, let's just double check. Okay, let's look at the 13th now. Click on a number, click on a day, so we can have a look, see if this is prime. And sure as hell it is. It's 209. Okay, so remember 209 is our super duper balance number. Okay, and talking about that now, it's a good segue back. We're going to look at something else that's in in the Bullet Train film, okay? Because they make this heavy reference to. We're going to look at this number jump here. They make this heavy reference in the Bullet Train to. It says it right here, yeah. The twins, okay, the twins in the film have this. One of the twins, okay, has this obsession with Thomas the Tank Engine. Okay, and in fact, if you've seen the film, it goes on about the diesel as well. Okay, in Thomas the Tank Engine, the diesel's kind of the baddie kind of engine. Okay, now remember, it's the two diesel engines that are going to destroy the DeLorean. Okay, but anyway, Thomas the Tank Engine. So they make this big reference to Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas the Tank Engine first issued. Published story about the Thomas the Tank Engine is 14th of September 1946. Again, the 14th of September is Clayton Moore's birthday. He's the Lone Ranger. Okay, it's really interesting right now. I don't know if anybody else out there watches a channel called it's Steve Fletcher. Okay, and he has also, I don't think he's copying my stuff or anything. He's drawing very similar conclusions, similar connections to. He even mentioned a werewolf in his last video I saw of his, and the Silver connection, and the DeLorean, and Silver hitting 88, and the DeLorean, and all this stuff. So he's making very similar connections to what we're looking at here as well. So it gets a bit. It kind of gets a bit sort of ominous when you see other people making very similar connections as well. Okay. Anyway, this release date for Thomas the Tank Engine. Okay. 2 to 230. What have we got? 29007. 297. This is the White Wedding Day. Okay, the 29th of July. I don't know if there's anything interesting about this or not. No. Okay, just the fact that number, and I don't know what it is for the 8th. What is it for the 8th? 292. Kind of interesting as well. Okay, and of course, again with Thomas the Tank Engine, 26, which is Train, is coming out at 29,000 even. So that is, it's just interesting the way some of these numbers you can click around, and it kind of helps tell the story a little bit, I think. I don't know. Right, what else we got here? This is one of the characters in the film. I showed you this before, but I thought I'd better show it again. This is Bullet Train we're talking about, and it's this gal here, Joey King, and as Prince. Okay, so there's a couple of references there with that, but I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to show you a connection with the King of Pop and Prince to 213. Okay, but anyway, July the 30th, 99. July the 30th, 99 through to 213. Look at this, 9696. Michael J. Fox's birthday is 96. Okay, the 9th of June. So that is well interesting. You can click it back and it still works for the 8th. Just do that. Boom, still works. Yeah, 9691. And I don't know if that was anything interesting. Click it, tick it, see. No, not really. Okay. Anyway, so 9696 there for Joey King, and she is playing Prince in the film. Okay, as the Prince. Right. Now, let me show you something. Where is he? Let me see if I've got him in here. Oh, of course, Michael Jackson as well with the 829 or 298. We've seen a lot of 829 stuff. Anyway, I thought I had his son. Yeah, here we are. Let's see. Come on. Come on, come on. Okay. There we go. There's his birthday. So this is Michael Jackson's first son. Okay. February the 13th, 97. Now that's kind of crazy. That might be a reach for a connection there. I'm not sure, but the fact that she's the king and we've got the Prince reference, I mean, you could probably take that several different directions as well. But I think he'll be 29, 97. Interesting. What else have I got here? Oh, I want to do this last little bit and then we'll be done. So, if we go to Pulp Fiction, I'm going to jump right now to a completely different film. But we have references to Madonna in here. We have references to Who's That Girl in this film. We've got all kinds of references in Pulp Fiction. In fact, it's just absolutely chock loaded. Let's just, I don't know why I've got it clicked on. Anyway, because I want to show you something. Come on. Wait. I don't know why it's doing this. But anyway, well, we don't really need to go to it because I can tell you what's what. In Pulp Fiction. Oh, here we go. Let's go down to Harvey Keitel and I'll show you something. Okay. Well, it might not even be. Well, maybe. I thought he was in here. Secondary characters. Okay, come on. Well, I've probably gone by him. I thought he was actually a fairly main character. Where are we? Don't forget Eric Stoltz in this film. Yeah, he's Marty. His birthday is the same day. It is the 30th of September. It's Hoover Dam birthday reference, and he plays the dead Marty in Back to the Future. They cut him out of the film. They dress him up in all black stuff as well. If you notice what he's wearing at the start of the film, it's done deliberately. Anyway, we're at Harvey Keitel. He's playing Winston Wolfe. Okay, Winston. And in fact, Churchill's got interesting connections with dates and everything as well, but I ain't going into that now. He's the wolf. He's the cleaner. Okay, he is the wolf. Right. Let me show you something about his birthday. Let me show you. And I want to say, oh, where is it? There it is. I can probably just write on here. This computer is really struggling right now. It's past its bedtime. Okay, note, so he's playing the wolf, right? He's playing the wolf in Pulp Fiction. Let's just look at his birthday. Let's write this down so you can see why this is so important. 5, 1, 3. Okay, now you probably can figure this out. If you reflect this number, okay, it becomes 2, 1, 3. Okay, so it's super duper interesting in terms of, because we've been dealing with a lot of this. We've been dealing with a lot of palindromic numbers, reflectivity, and balancing is, this is balancing, yeah? Okay, anyway, so I wanted to point that out. Let me show you something else. So if you don't think he's connected, let me show you something else here. Hang on. How do I get rid of this? Oh dear, oh dear. Come on. All you've got to do is survive just a little bit longer, computer. Come on. I want to show you. What do I want to show you? Let's do some number jumps. Let me show you something else, right? So Harvey Keitel, right, in this film, Little Nicky, he plays. Where is it? Let's go down to the who's who. He plays Satan. Okay, he's the devil, right, in Little Nicky. And the reason why I'm on this film is not just looking at him. It was a different connection, which I'm not going to do tonight because it's take too long to go through. But I might come back to this and show you it another day. Little Nicky. Let me show you something here. Let's do a number jump. Let's do some number jumps, right? Oh dear, I've got a funny feeling this is going to delete this. Oh no, it didn't. Well done. Okay, this is, I believe, the release of Little Nicky through to 213. Okay, and this is another one of these jump around numbers, which is really interesting, right? So this is Little Nicky through to 213. 9227. Let's see what it is. 1144 prime. Now let's look at another number jump. Well, I got it here. To do with Pulp Fiction. Come on. This is fine. I don't know. Is it going to stay? Yes, it is. Okay. This is Pulp Fiction release date through to 28. Super Bowl day. 11440. Okay, just when you have numbers connect like that, that's crazy, right? What else have I got? I think I'm nearing the end now. I'm going to show you 2 or 3 more things, right? And there's a couple of things I don't even have in here that I wanted to put in, but it's just like, this is, look, computer can't even deal with this amount of tabs. This is Kobe Bryant's death through to 213. This is kind of interesting, 2211. I don't know if it's anything, let's just click it. I can't remember if it was anything interesting. Oh, blimmin' hell. I tell you what is, I'm going to show you what is interesting though here in just a second, if this thing will do something. Yes, this was it. 66 triangular. That is pretty mental. 1881st composite. Really interesting. And so that's 60. So that is 66 triangular is pretty damn interesting, right? Notice this as well. 6 years through the years. 6 years, 19 days. Let me show you something in Back to the Future. When Marty goes across, comes back home, for the final jump home, right? Now remember, he is, in Teen Wolf, he's Kobe Bryant, right? He's the wolf. Kobe is, yeah? So in Teen Wolf, he's Kobe Bryant. He's make the final jump home here. Let's just play a second of this. He's going to go past this car here. Check the number plate out on this car. Oh, let's back it up. Notice the 619 on the number plate right here. Yeah, he's just come home. Okay, 213. Where the hell were we at for that number jump? I can't even remember now. Right here. Yeah. Kobe Bryant's death. 213:26. Coming up. 6 years, 19 days. 619 on that car. Yeah. Marty is the wolf. He is Kobe Bryant in Teen Wolf. How can you do that? How can you? You know, the mind boggles at how that all fits together. Here we go. Bugs Bunny. We probably ought to do something with Bugs Bunny. Oh dear. Before the computer completely melts down. Come on. We've got a birthday in here. 7/27/1940 is the one I'm looking at. Because I want to show you something with that date. Which is fairly interesting. It's this number right here. And then we're going to call it a day. Because I don't think we can do any more. Come on. Come up now. Come on. I promise you, this is the last one. Come on, computer. Bloomin' hell. This number here. This is Bugs Bunny's birth. One of Bugs Bunny as we know it character, I guess. Through to 213 coming up, right? Oh darn it! I've got to show you one more thing after this. 31247. Right, those numbers. If we were to just switch this 2 and the 3 around, let me show you where those numbers occur. Okay. We're back at Lucas numbers on here. Get rid of all this crud. Right. So here's our new Lucas number line. And here's our Bugs Bunny number. Okay. Except we've just got to switch the 2 and the 3 over. Okay. That is absolutely mental. In fact, you can come down this. Well, no, you can't come down that way. What am I talking about? No. Forget that idea. Oh dear, this thing is just... She's really going to blow up soon, I think. Hang on. Anyway, there's our Bugs Bunny numbers right at the start of the cycle. Okay, albeit the 2 and the 3 are switched. So I thought that was definitely worth mentioning at least. Okay. Let me show you the final thing here, because probably some people want to know, you know, this rabbit reference, follow the white rabbit, and let me show you it with the dollar bill. Okay, dollar bill. Let's put this on. We've got to do. I'll show you the number jump on the dollar bill. So there's many different ways of decoding this thing, and one of the decodes. Come on. one of the decodes here is counting leaves and berries, and the different groupings of leaves and berries there are on the dollar bill. So we're going to go through it really quickly. Oh, and also look at the first. Well, let me show you. Actually, oh come on, why won't that get rid of that? Come on, do that. For whatever reason, this thing is just. This was kind of important not to do that. Oh well, anyway, ain't working. But if you look here, there are two leaves up here, okay, and they look like bunny ears, okay, and we're going to follow the white rabbit here. There's the bunny ears here, okay, there's two, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves here, so we've got 2, 4, and then there's, if you count the berries, a bit difficult to see on here, but there's 2 berries, 1 there, 2 berries there. That's 4 berries total. 254. The 254th day of the year is 9/11. Okay, that is 9/11. So now we want to see where we need to go from 9/11. So let's count these leaves and berries. There's a berry here, so that's 1, and then there's 5 leaves here and 5 leaves here. Okay, so we are going to jump over the dollar bill to the other side. We're going to follow the white rabbit. Here's the 2 bunny ears here. We're following to these 2 bunny ears here. See the bunny ears? The white bunny ears there. We're going. We had 155. Okay, 155 days takes you to what? Takes you to 2. There's our 2 there. There's 1, 2, 3 here, and a berry. 213. 155 days from 9/11 takes you to 213. Yeah? The start of Lucas numbers. We're following the rabbit. The bad bunny. Okay? We're following it across the dollar bill with this 155-day jump. Now, you may have seen the other day that the Heliofant channel, and everybody's been going on about this, posted 10 videos, random numbers on the videos, yeah, but they all added up to 9 minutes, 11 seconds, I think is what it was. Okay, 9 minutes. Another way of looking at that, okay, that 9/11 that was on the Heliofant channel, is if you looked at it in just pure seconds, it would have been 551 seconds. Okay, 551 seconds is 9 minutes. 9 minutes 11 seconds. Okay, 155 here, 551. Okay. I don't know what else to say. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in here, and don't forget on this side we have the horse mane on the dollar bill. Yeah, another, a Broncos reference. Okay, and if you see my other decodes on the dollar bill, you'll know that these 2 bottom portions of the dollar bill here connected back with Peyton Manning. Yeah, obviously that connects back to the Broncos, yada yada yada. And one little note, which I probably will never ever do a decode on, but I have this vehicle sitting out in my yard, and the first vehicle I got when I came to America was a Ford Ranger, and in fact that's the first vehicle you see in Back to the Future, I think, isn't it? When he comes out of the garage, he grabs onto the Ford Ranger and gets a lift. Okay, so there's the Lone Ranger. yeah, the Lone, the one that's in Lone Ranger. So the Ford Ranger, okay, what I have sitting out, so that was the first vehicle I got when I came to America, right? Funnily enough, why I came to America is to do horseshoeing, yeah, to be a farrier. This is kind of an interesting horse connection again, yeah, with the Ranger, with the Lone Ranger. So this is, I'm just talking about personal synchronicities here. Anyway, the second vehicle that I purchased was a Ford, ditto, Bronco 2. Okay, now that is a version, that vehicle there, it's not the big Bronco, it's the small one that is like the Ranger. It's just kind of interesting with the Lone Ranger stuff, the Bronco 2, the two same things. Yeah, the Broncos, I don't know. Where do I put it in? I think I looked at a number jump that was interesting the other day for the new Ranger, the new Bronco that they brought out, and they just recently, you know, re-brought out the Bronco. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. I don't think there's really anything else to say. Ford, yeah, crossing the river. I'm just looking through my notes just to make sure there wasn't anything else. I've got some other stuff scribbled here, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. Anyway, I'm leaving it there. So now you've re-seen